At this time, I want to be able to send some kind of communication to my students to be able to prepare them to discuss something in class on the next period. So what I'll do is I will send them a forum question, and I'll say, this is what I need you to do. So up in the top right-hand corner where it says add a new topic, I will select that. I'm going to select an idea for the topic. It says, read the quote at the beginning of chapter 1. In the message, I want to elaborate a little bit more. I've said read quote at the beginning of chapter 1 and prepare to challenge. I ask students often to challenge something that's being said. All of my chapters begin with a quote from a member of government who sends the readers thinking a little bit about what's about to happen and whether or not it's a topic that draws discussion or argument. So I'm going to say prepare to challenge, and I want to highlight that. So I'm going to highlight that and select bold, and this is an emphasis to the students to say, this is important what I want you to do. On the bottom, this is an HTML format. I want you to see that. The subscription goes to everyone who's in this forum. Those are all the students in my class. If I had an additional attachment with this quote, let's say if I had some information about the person speaking on that, I could add that file right here. I don't at this time. If I select Mail Now in this box, all of my students would automatically get a mailing of this particular question that I've asked them to do. Or I can wait for them to come and read it when they go to Moodle, which is what I'm choosing right now. So I'm selecting Post the Forum. It says my post was successful. If I wanted to change it, I'd have 30 minutes. Now, up in the top right-hand corner, I can see read quote at the beginning of, it starts to say chapter 1. If I select more next to it, it will bring up that whole thing. If I selected News Forum underneath the syllabus, it will also bring up that whole argument. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I select News Forum, it says read quote at the beginning of chapter 1. If I selected that, it would go into greater detail of what I just typed up ahead. I started this discussion. It tells you that it was me. If students reply, it will tell me how many replies I have, and they would show up on the bottom. So all the kids in the class could also see who replied what they said as well. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, select Government 101, and it brings me back to where I started.